What's up, family? Another day, another rapper dead. Now, before y'all jump the gun, hear me out. This time, it's Big Scarr. Big Scarr is Gucci Mane's artist, well, was Gucci Mane's artist, signed to his 1017 label. He's a Memphis rapper, a pretty good Memphis rapper who has cheated death a few times. When he was 16, he was involved in a car accident and ejected through the windshield, and he ended up with a lot of scars all over his body. And that's how he got the name Big Scarr. Then he had a shooting incident in 2020. It said that he got shot in the hip and the bullet traveled to his spine, and he had to get his leg removed and realigned. Yeah, he almost died. Fast forward to 2022, and people are claiming that he was shot. Others are saying that he overdosed. I think the overdose is more plausible because usually when people get shot, it's in the news, especially a celebrity. It's gonna be in the news immediately. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna go out and take their pictures and stuff and take a report. You know how it go, man. The police gonna call right away. Oh yeah, we got us one. And their buddies in the media are going to go out there and do what they do. Now, fam, I understand that a lot of you know what's going on. You don't do drugs. You're not in the streets. You're not a rapper. But let's face it, a lot of these kids are, no matter what you say, no matter what you think about hip hop, the youngsters are into hip hop. They're either rapping or they're just a fan. But that's what they do. That's their thing. And it didn't work when our parents tried to sway us away from hip hop. It didn't work when their parents tried to sway them away from rock and roll. And it's not going to work today. The best thing that I think that people can do, because I hear people constantly dragging hip hop, constantly dragging the youth, and you know, the thing is that if you ain't helping, you're hurting. So instead of trying to drag them, how about try to find some understanding? Because if we don't get an understanding, then these youngsters are going to be totally lost. I get it, they're lost, but you got to think about who lost them. If they're lost, who lost them? I submit that it's the generation that came before them. So we have an obligation to try to understand them. Even if we don't like the music, we can get an understanding about what it is that they like about the music. And we can get an understanding about who they are, what they're feeling, so that we can better communicate with them. When you start talking about the drug overdose, I know that turns people off immediately. Like, well, you should have known, shouldn't have done it. You know, if you did drugs, drugs kill. We get it, got it. I personally never did drugs because I was scared of drugs. I saw people, as I was growing up, I saw people OD. I saw a dude, I was looking for my mom one day in the hood, and I went to this cafe that she normally hangs out in, and I opened the bathroom door, and there's a dude in there just, right there in the arm, hitting that heroin. Right there in his arm, right there, bam. And I was like, freaked me out. Seeing people do some of the most heinous things to their family members, rob their own grandmother, beat up their mothers, sell their children into prostitution, trade their children for drugs. A working man gives up his car and starts riding the bus. And, it's so many other things out there that can't even mention on this channel. But absolutely, fam, the drugs for me was like, because I saw how it was getting everybody. It wasn't just hitting like people that you would say, oh yeah, he broke, he broke, he on drugs. No, man, the drugs will get you, man. Anybody. The drugs can get anybody. I've seen it bring down cheerleaders, politicians, lawyers, doctors, entrepreneurs, people who was raised in good homes. Those drugs, you get on those drugs, because the drugs affect people in different ways. Everybody have a different tolerance for drugs. And you don't know what your tolerance is until you put that stuff in your body. It ain't about, oh, I'm big bad. If Lil Mike can handle the drugs, I know I can handle it. Oh no, that ain't how it works. That ain't how it works. You got to be careful. You got to be very careful. The best way to be careful is to just say no. Yeah, it sounds corny. The person who coined the term was corny. What was her name? Nancy Reagan? Corny, corny, corny. Corny. Her and her husband. Corny. But here we are, fam. Here we are. It's a cold game, man. It's a cold game. I think if a person want to be around at a certain age, they have to see themselves there, right? You got to, first of all, visualize yourself being alive at 25, 30, 50, 60, 70, 80. You got to visualize it. You got to plan it. And your actions have to be consistent with the outcome that you want. So if you know you're engaging in activities that are inconsistent with reaching that age, the best thing to do is to pump the brakes on. And that goes for everybody, not just the youngsters. R.I.P. Big Scarr. No more talk.